Imagine the weight of the crown pressing down, the burden of centuries of tradition, and yet when the choice came, it wasn't about palaces, politics, or protocol. It was about family. Prince William and Princess Catherine made a remarkable decision: to step away from the noise of London and place their children, their love, and their future at the very center of their lives. What made this choice so powerful wasn't just what it said about them, it was how King Charles responded. His reaction revealed something few expected: a softer, more human side of a monarch often seen as distant. If stories like this one move you, where duty meets heart and royalty feels profoundly human, then stick around because what we're about to uncover may surprise you. And hey, if you enjoy these deep dives into the hidden moments shaping the royal family, don't forget to hit that like button, subscribe for more, and share this with someone who loves a good royal story. Let's dive in. When the world imagines royal life, it's easy to picture the obvious: Buckingham Palace gleaming in the morning light, the ceremonial guards, the formal dinners where every glance and gesture is choreographed. But what's far harder to picture is the private side, the part where even a future king and queen wrestle with the same simple question every parent asks: where can our children feel safe, happy, and free? For Prince William and Princess Catherine, that question came to the forefront after years of pressure, public scrutiny, and personal hardship. Their answer was not the glamour of Kensington Palace in the heart of London, nor a retreat to some distant estate. Instead, it was a choice both practical and deeply emotional: Forest Lodge, a home tucked into Windsor, far from the constant buzz of cameras and crowds. On paper, Forest Lodge looks like what many would call a dream property: 8 bedrooms, 6 bathrooms, sweeping staircases, and a long gallery that whispers of history. But to William and Catherine, its true value had nothing to do with square footage or grandeur. It had to do with space to breathe. London is relentless. Every time William stepped outside Kensington Palace, he was reminded of the weight of expectation. Every time Catherine tried to take the children for an outing, flashes of cameras followed. For young George, Charlotte, and Louis, the capital wasn't a playground, it was a stage. And children don't thrive on stages. They thrive in places where they can fall off a bicycle without it becoming tomorrow's headline. That's what Forest Lodge offered. Not an escape from duty, but a buffer from the noise. A place where the children could grow with a sense of normalcy, where homework and laughter at the dinner table mattered more than headlines, where a scraped knee or a bedtime story didn't need to be curated for the public eye. And the symbolism of this move runs deeper than domestic life. For centuries, the monarchy has been about projecting power through palaces, estates, and ritual. But William and Catherine's choice told a different story: that the strength of a royal household can just as easily come from prioritizing love, stability, and family. In their eyes, protecting their children wasn't separate from duty. It was duty. It's worth remembering that this choice didn't come in a vacuum. In the years leading up to it, William endured the painful rift with his brother, the heartbreaking loss of his grandmother, and the frightening health battle of his wife. Catherine's preventative chemotherapy in 2024 was more than just a medical chapter. It was a moment that shifted their entire outlook on life. When faced with the fragility of health, the trappings of royal privilege lose their shine. What matters suddenly and urgently is the people around your table, not the rooms they sit in. So when insiders say this move was about family, it isn't a polite euphemism. It's the absolute truth. Forest Lodge became a symbol of resilience, a physical declaration that their children's well-being mattered more than proximity to Westminster or the glitter of palace life. And yet, this was not a reckless leap. William and Catherine didn't choose seclusion in the Scottish Highlands or some far-off retreat. They chose Windsor deliberately, close enough to stay connected to royal duties, but private enough to allow their children to attend school, ride bikes, and play in the garden without constant interruption. It was the middle ground between tradition and progress, between duty and parenthood. In many ways, the move echoes what William himself experienced as a child. He grew up between the formality of palace life and the warmth of Diana's efforts to give him normal experiences: fast food outings, trips to amusement parks, or simply walking through the streets without royal fanfare. That balance shaped him. Now he was determined to offer the same balance to his own children, but with even greater intention. Critics may call it symbolic, but in truth, symbols matter in the monarchy. Forest Lodge is more than timber and stone. It represents a generational shift, a recognition that the monarchy's relevance in the 21st century doesn't rest solely on parades or ceremonies, but on whether the heirs to the throne are raised with humanity intact. And perhaps the most telling detail is this: William and Catherine will pay a market rent for the home, rather than relying on taxpayer funds. It's a quiet but powerful gesture that says, we are not here to be a burden, we are here to live responsibly. In that sense, their move doesn't just reshape their children's lives, it reshapes public perception of the monarchy itself. As one royal insider put it, sometimes the next generation gets it right, sometimes wrong, but even mistakes prepare them for the throne. That's the point. William and Catherine are learning, experimenting, and building a foundation not only for their children, but for the future of the crown itself. So when the Wales family moves their belongings into Forest Lodge, it's not just furniture, memories, or clothes they carry. They carry a statement that love and family come first, and that true duty isn't measured by where you live, but by the values you live by. When a royal family makes headlines, the stories usually revolve around ceremonies, scandals, or political debates. But the chapter that defined William and Catherine's lives wasn't written in the spotlight. It was written in hospital corridors, during long nights of uncertainty, and in whispered reassurances between husband and wife. In 2024, Catherine's life changed. Preventative chemotherapy is a phrase that for most people carries fear and fragility. For Catherine, it carried something more: courage. She faced her treatment with quiet dignity, rarely allowing the public to glimpse the storm she and her family weathered behind closed doors. And yet, this experience reshaped everything: their priorities, their decisions, and ultimately their remarkable choice of home. For William, the ordeal was more than a test of resilience. It was a reminder that duty cannot always come first. He had spent years balancing official engagements, speeches, and appearances with being a father and husband. But when Catherine's health faltered, the balance was no longer negotiable. His family was the priority. If that meant stepping back from the stage, so be it. If that meant disappointing the press, so be it. What's striking about this period is how human it made them. Strip away the titles, the jewels, the formality, and what remained were two people bound together by love and the desire to protect their children. Catherine's bravery wasn't the kind captured in royal portraits. It was the bravery of showing up for her family day after day, even when her strength wavered. And for William, courage took a different form. It wasn't just about supporting his wife. It was about enduring his own hardships while holding the family together. In just a few years, he had lost his grandmother, seen his relationship with his brother fracture in painful public fashion, and carried the growing weight of knowing that one day, the crown would sit on his head. Add to that his father's health struggles, and the image of a prince leading a charmed life fades quickly. Instead, you see a man carrying a burden that would bend almost anyone. It is precisely because of these struggles that their choice of Forest Lodge resonates so deeply. It wasn't a retreat born out of privilege, it was a survival strategy. Catherine needed stability, William needed clarity, and their children needed to feel secure. The decision to step away from the intensity of London wasn't about avoiding responsibility. It was about creating the foundation to shoulder it better. Royal insiders describe the couple's decision-making process as deliberate and deeply personal. Adelaide Cottage, their first move to Windsor, had always been seen as a trial, a test of whether the environment suited their children's needs. By the end of 3 years, the verdict was clear. The children flourished. Windsor offered privacy, access to good schools, and proximity to both grandparents. Forest Lodge, with its larger size and deeper sense of permanence, became the natural next step. What sets this apart from ordinary family moves is the extraordinary symbolism behind it. When Catherine walked through those corridors of treatment, and William sat waiting for news, they both realized the monarchy is not immune to life's harsh realities. If anything, Their struggles mirrored those of countless families across Britain and beyond. Families who know that when illness strikes, everything else falls into perspective. That recognition gave them a different kind of strength, one that resonates far beyond the walls of Windsor. Observers have noted how Catherine's quiet courage and William's steadfast resolve are shaping their image as the future king and queen. Not as distant figureheads, but as people who embody resilience, empathy, and humanity. In many ways, their hardships are becoming their greatest strength, giving them a relatability that no ceremonial crown could provide. And perhaps that is why King Charles's support was so wholehearted. He recognized that William and Catherine were not retreating from duty but embracing it in a new form, one that placed their well-being at the center. Because a monarch who leads from stability at home is a monarch who can serve from strength in public. By choosing Windsor, William and Catherine showed that courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes it whispers in decisions made quietly, behind closed doors, with no fanfare. Sometimes it looks like a mother enduring treatment with grace, or a father standing firmly by her side. Sometimes it looks like choosing family not as an afterthought, but as the beating heart of everything. And so, in the story of William and Catherine, courage isn't a headline, it's a daily choice. It's Catherine's bravery in facing the unknown, William's determination to hold his family steady, and their shared resolve to place love before legacy. Their move to Forest Lodge isn't simply about bricks, bedrooms, or history. It's about healing, resilience, and the quiet belief that even royals must first be human.